Good evening. It is my pleasure to be with you tonight through the use of technology as Vanguard Sentinel celebrates and dedicates its new building in Fremont. I was very excited when Superintendent Greg Ettinger took me on a tour of the new facility a little over a week ago. I could not help but think back to when I first entered the Cedar Street building as a Terra Technical College prospective adjunct faculty member many years ago. I entered the door and stopped at the front office for an interview. As a result of that interview, I was hired to teach mathematics at Terra. I would enter that same door many times and come into the front office to go into the mailroom each day. I would go down the hall and find my classroom and teach mathematics. A major change occurred in my life when I went from being a part-time teacher to a full-time faculty member in 1989. I was hired as a full-time Terra mathematics, science, and computer programming teacher and had an office in the back of the Cedar Street building. I have many fond memories of the Cedar Street building, taping the first distance learning class for Terra in the physics lab, being in the cafeteria for Gordy Sam's famous shower cap cookouts, having the first kids college where students rotated from the robotics lab to the traditional classroom for their sign language class, and then to the chemistry lab for a bit of science magic. I also remember convocations in the lecture lab when the then president, Richard Simon, gave a State of the College address each year. I remember back in the early 1990s driving my family's brand new conversion van from the Cedar Street campus to Terra's Napoleon Road campus when we had 10 minutes in between classes and getting stopped for speeding. I explained to the officer that I was not used to the new van and needed to get to my Terra class. He let me go with a warning. I sure remember that. In 1994, Terra Technical College became Terra Community College. Terra began offering transfer courses and transfer degrees, a major change for Terra and its students. In 1996, Terra's new engineering building was complete on the Napoleon Road campus, and I moved my office away from Cedar Street. No more driving back and forth between the two campuses, and no more speeding tickets. What memories I have of the Cedar Street building. The halls and the classrooms have been the site of great learning for Terra students. When Terra combined both campuses into one and moved to having only the Napoleon Road campus, the Cedar Street building became available and was purchased and used by the Fremont City Schools and the Tech Center. Because of my various positions at Terra over the years, I often visited the Cedar Street building. I would go to meetings in what I had known as the engineering conference room and was then Dr. Tracy McCauty's conference room. I would attend Fremont City Schools Quality Control Curriculum Committee meetings in the building and meet with tech prep teachers and staff to create articulation agreements between the Tech Center and Terra. I always enjoyed working with the Fremont school system and Vanguard Sentinel until my retirement from being a dean at Terra in June of this year. Last week, I had an unexpected pleasure as I was given a tour of the newly renovated Cedar Street building. I was amazed at what I saw. Another major change has occurred. The old front office that I had known has been transformed into a student lounge full of light and remodeled to suit the needs of 21st century students seeking and receiving 21st century skills. The large screens, TVs, and the wireless internet access will make this room a hub of activity for Vanguard students. I visited the state-of-the-art classrooms. In fact, my old office is now part of a modern classroom which is set up for students to actively participate in their learning. No longer is the teacher, the lecturer, standing in the front of the classroom. The classrooms are no longer composed of individual student desks all lined up in rows. Instead, tables grouped together have been placed in the center of the room, while computers are available around the perimeter of the room for student use, thereby allowing Vanguard teachers to be facilitators of student learning. Another major change I noticed was the old physics lab where I taught. This room has become an up-to-date science lab where students will be able to perform realistic experiments supporting authentic learning. As I walked through the halls, I entered the new part of the building, which used to be the back parking lot. This addition to the original Cedar Street building enables both students that have been tech prep or what I knew as tech prep, and Vanguard traditional students to share academic space for general studies classes and have individual classrooms focused on technical skills, which will allow these students to be ready to meet the demands of the 21st century workforce. I can tell that a great deal of thought and effort went into the planning of this newly renovated building. Fremont can be proud to have this modern educational facility with state-of-the-art equipment and fully trained teachers to educate our youth. Congratulations to Superintendent Ettinger, Rosemary Krieger, faculty, staff, and students. What a wonderful building you have created. I look forward to hearing about your accomplishments in the future.